Now that you have created the discovery, you will need to configure the discovery options so that it will know how to find and collect information from your assets. Click the Details button for the new discovery that you just created on the Discovery's Overview page to open the Settings page for that discovery. On the Settings page, you will see 5 tabs: Basic Settings, IP Addresses, Protocol Settings, Schedules, and Discovery Report. The Basic Settings tab allows you to reconfigure the name, data collector, and location for the discovery. As mentioned previously, you will not be able to reconfigure the discovery type from this view. There is also an option to enable or disable monitoring for newly discovered assets. Think of a discovery as a snapshot of your device. Properties and sensors are collected during discovery, and a snapshot of them are stored in the application. Monitoring, on the other hand, is a continuous communication with the discovered assets to keep those properties and sensors updated in real time. The IP Addresses tab is where you tell the discovery where to look on the network for devices. This page incorporates an included and excluded IP address section. To add IP addresses to either section, click the Add button on the right side of the page to get started. An Add IP Addresses dialog window will appear where you can select a type of IP address or IP range to add. The options include single IP, IP range, CIDR range, or an IP address list. Select one of these options, then provide a description of the IP address. The description should be something that easily identifies what devices or device types are included within this range. Finally, enter the IP address data into the form. Best practices for IP address discoveries indicate that you should attempt to keep the IP address list or range as small as possible. This is beneficial for several reasons. It keeps the discovery time shorter, it has less of a chance to find unknown devices, and it keeps the network traffic cleaner. Click the Save button to close the Add IP Addresses dialog, and you will see the information you just entered in the IP Addresses tab. Continue through these steps to build out the IP addresses included and excluded for the discovery. When you click on the Protocol Settings tab, a drop-down menu will appear. This menu includes an option for protocols and an option for each individual protocol. Selecting the Protocols option navigates to the Protocol Overview page for this discovery. This page provides an overview of all the protocols assigned to the discovery based off of the discovery's type selected when first creating it. You can review the protocol name in the service column, the usage of the protocol in the description column, and enable or disable each protocol individually for this discovery. You'll need to configure the protocol credentials for the discovery to use next. Click on the Edit button for the protocol you want to configure to open the settings page for that protocol. The protocol settings page allows you to enable or disable the protocol, set up the communication port, and provide the credentials for the discovery to use to access your devices and retrieve information from them. The protocol port section will contain the default port for that communication protocol already, but if this is configured differently in your environment, then you will need to add a new port by clicking the Add button in the Ports section. For the Credentials section, click the Add option to open the Add New Credentials dialog. This dialog allows you to either select existing credentials saved to the application under the Existing Credentials tab, or add new credentials under the Add New Credentials tab. To add a new set of credentials, you'll need to provide a description, username, and password. Once this information has been entered, click the Save button and the info will be saved for this discovery. Repeat this process for all protocols that will be needed for this discovery. Best practice for discovering data from devices is to attempt communication with multiple protocols in order to obtain as much data about your equipment as possible.